Well, so-called zombie homes are a growing blight on Long Island.
Yeah, they're vacant and abandoned dwellings that have fallen into disrepair during foreclosure. In a News 12 Newsday special investigation, I look at the impact those homes are having on the economy.
Growing up, I've never seen a vacant house, and we used to run around the neighborhood all the time, and we never had vacant homes that I can remember.
Terrence McSweeney is the president of the Parkdale Civic Association. One of his biggest concerns, homes that are falling apart with no one living in them and no one taking responsibility for the upkeep. Dwellings many call zombie homes.
Turning onto this street, we're about to see numerous abandoned homes, right?
Numerous. Between this street and the next one over has to be the most.
According to a Newsday analysis, both Nassau and Suffolk lead the state in the number of zombie homes. They cost their neighbors more than $400 million in decreased home values.
The banks are the ones that need to take responsibility and get these houses sold, do something with them. Some of them, I believe, need to be knocked down with the amount of damage that's in them.
McSweeney says zombie homes attract squatters, and worse. Many of the homes are stripped of copper wires, have no plumbing, and suffer from extensive water damage.
There was a water leak in the basement, mildew everywhere, and she didn't care. She just needed a place to crash. I caught her changing the locks on the rear door.
This is right next to your parents' house.
Right next to my parents' house. It really becomes a quality of life issue for everybody else in the neighborhood who pays their taxes, who pays their mortgage on time.
The term zombie home may sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's actually fully grounded in the law.
Now, the laws governing foreclosures can be very complicated, but in simple terms, here's how it works. A bank lends money to an individual to buy a home. Now, that bank doesn't own the home. It only has a lien against the home for the amount of the loan. If the homeowner defaults on the loan, the bank then has the option to file what's called a foreclosure action. Now, that process can take years. However, the owner does not lose ownership until the end of the foreclosure action, where there's a title transfer. On Long Island, we have seen that many homeowners abandon the property during this process. That creates the so-called zombie home. Now, the dilemma is, during this period of time, who has the duty to maintain the property?
They almost wrecked the economy, and now they're wrecking our community.
For Babylon Town Supervisor Richie Schaefer, responsibility lies with the banks.
All these banks that gave out these bad loans to people who shouldn't have gotten mortgages, we're now seeing the aftermath of that.
Babylon, like many Long Island communities, is now taking steps to hold banks more accountable to maintain abandoned homes during the foreclosure process.
These are all homes that are already been identified.
Through a registry, the town tracks where the problem areas are and which banks are responsible for upkeep and maintenance.
We are enforcing our codes. That's when we're making sure that they register the home and they maintain the home.
But some warn that forcing banks to maintain homes in foreclosure will make them less likely to issue loans in the future. Bruce Bergman is a banking and foreclosure attorney.
You may find very few lenders who want to make loans to people who deserve them and need them because the liability imposed upon them is just untenable.
A debate that, for now, is having very real effects across Long Island. As for the future,
I think it's important that we do some of this preventive outreach. There's plenty of organizations out there, and a lot of time that help homeowners in this situation, and a lot of times they don't know who to go to.
I grew up here. I care about this neighborhood. I've raised a family here. It becomes a quality of life issue, like I said, for everybody in the neighborhood, for the entire neighborhood, because you don't know who your neighbor is.
The state AG's office has proposed tighter regulations on how banks handle foreclosures. However, in the past, similar measures have been unsuccessful in the state legislature.